SpaceX Starlink, to AI or not to AI? That's the question. Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of fireside, and that is it. So good. Smokiness. Love it. Hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking photo, talking video. Today is a technology day. We're going to be talking about AI and Elon Musk and SpaceX and Starlink. AI as a term has become so convoluted. I really want to talk to you about it a little bit. Before the end of this video, I want to give you my understanding of AI, and hopefully you will get a grasp on what AI is and what it isn't at the same time. So I was reading an article over on Business Insider. It was really interesting. They talked about Elon Musk and AI and what he thought about it and where he uses it. Does he use it in SpaceX? Does he use it in Starlink? Where does he use it? I really found that this was fascinating from a person like Elon Musk, that we know, obviously, he's been working on XAI for quite some time and other things. So I want to get into it a little bit with you guys. I hope you find this interesting as I did. Before we get into this article, I just want to say that if you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks, check them out. Go to JCristina.com/books. You'll get them free just for you being here. And as I always say, if you enjoy the content, consider throwing it a thumbs up. That's very, very helpful. Also, if you're not subscribed, consider doing so. If you are, thank you so much. Click this little notification button over here so when I go live, when a new video comes out, you will be notified of it immediately. If you want more Starlink content like this, consider looking at my Starlink playlist. I put it together for you. There's over 270 videos just on Starlink. Helpful how-tos, tips, tricks, what to buy, what not to buy, what to do, what not to do, and how to do it. But most importantly, the why behind it all. This channel has always been about the why. And if you want to say thank you for all of my hard work, I appreciate that. There's a little thank you button right down here. Click on that, give $1 or $2 if you like. If not, that's perfectly fine. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. So now that all the housekeeping is done, let's get into this article. It starts out by saying Elon Musk is not planning on recreating 2001: A Space Odyssey anytime soon. That's always nice.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
I don't know what you're talking about, Hal.
I know that you and Frank were planning to disconnect me, and I'm afraid that's something I cannot allow to happen.
Musk, who answered questions during the 27th annual Milken Institute Global Conference on Monday, spent a sizable portion of his talk extolling the benefits of artificial intelligence. When asked about the role the technology would play in humans' everyday lives, he said a truth-seeking AI could foster human civilization. Interesting. Truth-seeking. But when asked whether AI could accelerate his efforts in space exploration, he seemed less excited about the technology. The moderator, Michael Milken, obviously this is the Milken Institute Global Conference, Michael Milken asked, quote, "Can AI accelerate your efforts in space? How do you see it helping you in what you're trying to achieve?" Elon Musk replied with this, "I mean, oddly enough, one of the areas where there's almost no AI used is space exploration. So SpaceX uses basically no AI. Starlink does not use AI at all. I'm not against using it, but we haven't seen a use for it." Musk continued by saying that he's been testing improved AI language models by asking them questions about space, and the results have been disappointing. Quote, "With any given variant of or improvements in AI, I'll ask a question about the Fermi paradox, about rocket engine design, about electrochemistry, and so far, the AI has been terrible at those questions," Musk said, referring to the paradox that asks why we haven't come across alien life despite the high likelihood it exists in the universe. So there is still a long way to go, is what he stated. Now, if you don't know the Fermi paradox, I looked it up so you know exactly what it is. It says the Fermi paradox is the discrepancy between the lack of conclusive evidence of advanced extraterrestrial life and the apparently high likelihood of its existence, which makes sense. Now, to me, I'm not a fan of the Fermi paradox because I think that it is off. And the reason it's off is just mathematics, just simple mathematics, not even difficult mathematics. The way I look at it is like this. If every planet was like a grain of sand on a beach, let's say, just for an example, and there's trillions of pieces of sand on that beach. Well, each one of those pieces of sand, instead of being one on top of each other, these planets, right, they are a mile apart. Every single grain on that beach. So you got trillions of grains of sand spread out miles apart. Now, those grains of sand do not all have life on them. So maybe let's say there's 1% life. So out of those trillions of grains of sand, there is 1% possibility that this specific grain of sand and that have life to see each other, which are miles apart. Grain of sand, miles apart. And the miles are not just miles linearly. They are three-dimensionally miles. So it could be this way, could be that way, could be all the way around. So you're talking about miles in a three-dimensional sphere, not just linear. That being said, the universe is not static, right? The universe is ever expanding to the best of our knowledge. So what does that mean? That means that every single day, every single month, every single year, every single millennia, it's going to become harder and harder for those two pieces of sand, that 1%, to actually find each other. Once again, moving further and further apart, right? So there is this expansion going on. So it's going to become harder no matter how you look at it. So I do believe that it is probably imperative to find other life sooner than later, in my personal opinion. Anyways, that's why I really don't believe in the whole paradox, because they're not taking into consideration the mathematical possibilities and how infinite they are due to the vastity, the magnitude, sheer magnitude of the universe. And once again, its expansion. So that's just my personal opinion. I'm not a physicist. The article continues with, though he expressed some skepticism about AI for space exploration, Musk has still invested heavily in the development of artificial intelligence through his startup company, xAI, a project that aims to use the tech to, quote, accelerate human scientific discovery. Musk has previously predicted AI will outsmart humans by the end of 2026. Amazing. And I don't disagree with that. I think that that is a possibility. At his other companies, AI is more integrated. At X, Musk integrated his AI chatbot, Grok, which is similar to ChatGPT, into the social media platform. Musk also considered using AI to help summarize news on the site. I love that idea. I don't know about you guys. Down below in the comments, let me know what you think about that. I think summarizing news on X is a great thing. And the reason being is, for me, I love getting news from multiple sources. If you've been watching me on this channel for any period of time, you know that I am reading articles from all over the place. Sometimes they're overseas, sometimes they're local. It really doesn't matter to me. I'll find one that resonates, I'll read that one, and then I'll use a lot of my commentary based on others because I like to get information, once again, from a multitude of sources. And the reason being is we have to take everything with a grain of salt that we read, in my personal opinion, right? The reason being, the possibility of bias from the bearer of this information is very high. And knowing where the information comes from gives you the understanding of what the bias could be. What are their motives for giving this information? I think is very, very important. And with this channel and in my life in general, I've always tried to, let's say, find the truth by peeling back the onion skin, so to speak, to find the truth behind the layers of bias. I think that is very, very important. That's why we say, take everything with a grain of salt. Because once again, for me, bringing in information from a multitude of sources is the best idea because now I can have an easier means of discerning what is fact and what is fiction. So I like the idea of having AI now taking, once again, a plethora of knowledge and breaking it down and seeing where there is avenues that kind of mesh together, where there is, let's say, an understanding or a think on a certain direction, and then using that as a mass and then taking the other information and bringing it in and seeing where things correlate and where it doesn't. I think this is very, very good because it allows the computer to do a lot of this for us. Does that mean use this for everything and just think that this is absolutely 100% right? No, absolutely not. It can also be biased, number one, but it can also be wrong. AI will be wrong and is wrong a lot. So you have to take that into consideration. I want to say one other thing before we continue this article is if Elon Musk, let's say summary news AI, comes to fruition and it's working well, I think that it absolutely has to show evidence of where this information is coming from and show cite and verse on where it is so that you can go back and see where it came from. All right. I think this is very, very important. And a lot of things don't do it. It just says, this is what the answer is, and that's it. Providing no cite, no verse, no nothing. Where does it come from? Nothing. So to me, that would be really exceptional. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. The article continues. At Tesla, Musk hopes to build a sentient labor robot called Optimus. Though, for his cars, he's paused AI development because he did not hold 25% stake in the company. Smart man. The billionaire said it would allow him more control over the direction of AI at the company. Quote, if I have 25%, it means I am influential, but can be overwritten if twice as many shareholders vote against me. At 15% or lower, the for/against ratio to override me makes a takeover by dubious interests too easy. Once again, smart man. He also expressed wariness about potential risks to humanity and society that AI could bring, including the spread of misinformation and widespread of automation of jobs. The tech billionaire also believed that there was a small chance that a superintelligent AI could save humanity or end it. Quote, I think that there is some chance that it will end humanity. I probably agree with Jeff Hinton that it's about 10 or 20% or something like that. But, he added, we should take the risk anyways, saying, quote, I think that the probability of positive scenarios outweigh the negative scenarios. Interesting. So, like I said at the very beginning, I want to talk to you about what I feel AI and what it isn't, because I think this is very important. People have this absolutely just backwards. All right. We see AI everywhere. You look on commercials, you're in the news, it's just software. Everything is AI, right? There's an AI this and AI that. There's AI in everything. And it is a bunch of bullshit. Now, why do I say that? AI is specific to a program that learns. Is that simple enough? I mean, you could go into a longer description, but I think that's pretty simple for most people to understand. You know, I use this coffee maker as an analogy. If you have a coffee maker, for example, that has a possibility to make you coffee automatically, right? And there's 7 days a week. And the coffee maker can make coffee any of those 7 days, and there's 24 hours in a day. So the coffee maker can now be set up to, at certain days and at certain intervals, make coffee. Very simple. So the possibility of making coffee is what? 7 times 24, 168. Let's say 168 combinations of coffee making, right? Let's say if you do a half an hour process, well, then you'd have to times that by 2, right? 168 would be what? 336. 336 possibilities making your coffee on a half an hour once a day, let's say, during the course of 7 days, right? So you have those 336 possibilities. That is a coffee maker. That is a simple program. It's a similar type of program that you have in your car when you're driving around and the lights come on. It's a switch, right? It's simply a switch, electronic switch, but it's a switch, a simple program. Whereas AI, an AI coffee maker, for example, would not only know when you want your coffee, but then figure out when you want it in the future because it would learn based on input. You follow me? So, for example, if you provide it with an atomic clock, so it can read RF frequency, radio frequency, or the atomic clock is coming into it through internet. Now it knows the time. It might also know the date, the month. Maybe certain times a year you drink more coffee. Maybe on Christmas morning you have coffee at 4 a.m. every single time because you are preparing presents, or whatever the case might be. The bottom line here is it learns, all right? It learns from when you make coffee manually. It's like, oh, wait a second, I didn't make the coffee. They made the coffee. Why did they make it at this time? It looks at all of its variables. The difference also between AI and just a simple program is a simple program has a finite number of variables. AI can add to its variables based on sensory interception, let's call it, what information that it has available to it. All right, this is very, very important. Once again, unlike a simple program that has a finite number of variables, the date and the time with that specific coffee maker, now the AI coffee maker has date, it has time, it has when you actually do stuff. Maybe it has the weather. Maybe you like having coffee when it's a really dreary day out. Well, it will learn that over time. Or maybe you have someone coming over on every single Tuesday at 8 o'clock and it realizes that you need 2 cups of coffee at 8 o'clock. Think about that, all right? That is the difference between true AI and a simple program. So when you hear all of this BS on the news, and this AI this and AI that and AI in these commercials, all that stuff, think about it, right? Be discerning. Little bit of salt. All right. Now, speaking about Elon Musk saying that there's no AI in Starlink and there's probably minimal in SpaceX, so on and so forth. Well, I don't know if that's actually the truth. And the reason being, for example, with SpaceX, I think there's a ton of AI going on. Is there AI flying the rocket itself? Probably not. It's probably a program. But is there AI being used after a test flight goes off? I guarantee you. What do I mean by that? Well, it is now fed, the AI is fed all of the information that it gathered, millions, billions of data points of information into the AI. And now what does the AI do? Well, the AI will then figure out not just what went wrong, okay, but how to fix it from not going wrong in the future, okay? It adapts based on its input. Once again, the actual flight is probably just simply switches, right? Yes or no, binary, 1 or 0, off or on. But when it comes back, all of that data, I do believe, is fed into some type of AI computer to try to figure out how to make things better. My personal opinion. As far as SpaceX Starlink, is there AI being used? If the answer is no, I think the answer should be yes. Why do I say that? The reason being is if you think about it this way, if they're using AI, for example, in their ground stations, the AI could now figure out what times are congested. Not just what times, what days, what months, what nodes, which areas, and then using AI, figure out how to reroute the traffic, all right, based on the different congestion. Now, have we been doing that for a very long time in the NOCs and the network operations centers with Cisco routers and program? Yes, you can do that. But the difference is with an AI type of software, it will learn. It's not just ones and zeros. It can add to its programming based on other input that it gets. Different scenarios that it didn't have before, it can add into its thought process, so to speak, into those variables as it's going down. Its checklist, let's call it. You can look at it as simply a checklist at the grocery store, right? You have, let's say, 4 items that you want to buy. Well, while you're walking around, you find a 5th that wasn't on the list. Well, you're going to stick it on the list and check it off because you just got it. Let the wife know, I just got this specific item, don't buy it, right? Whereas a simple program would just go down those 4 items and that is it, nothing else. The AI will come up with that 5th item. Same thing holds true here, I believe, with SpaceX Starlink. I personally believe that Elon Musk should have SpaceX Starlink use AI to not only reactively move traffic based on congestion, but preemptively move the traffic around to speed things up and to lower latency. Because in the end, that's exactly what SpaceX Starlink is trying to do. Increase speeds, lower latency, and reduce congestion. And that an AI model could definitely do very easily. Very easily. So we'll see what ends up happening with this. I want to know what you think about this whole AI thing. What do you think about what Elon Musk has said? What do you think about the whole paradox, the Fermi paradox? Do you believe in it? Do you not? Where do I get things wrong? I want to hear from you. All right. I'm once again just some talking head here. Down below, that's when all the good, the juicy stuff happens, down here in the comments. So get on board, get into the comments, and add your thoughts. Once again, like I said before, if you enjoy the content, even a little bit, throw it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, family, colleagues, and finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the merchandise that I've invented for you and me over the many years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like, and if there is, please pick it up, support me and my family. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected, AI free, and we'll see you in the next one. Love you all.